Chain Drug Review and Mass Market Retailers Video Forum. Brought to you by the Emerson Group.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeffrey Wolt, Editor-in-Chief of Chain Drug Review and Mass Market Retailers. Welcome to our video forum. Today, we're delighted to have as our guest Sarah Davidson, Executive Vice President of ECRM. Sarah, great to have you with us.
So good to be here. Thanks, Jeff.
ECRM has a major milestone coming in 2024, its 30th anniversary. Maybe we could start by hearing a little bit about the thinking behind ECRM back in 1994 when it was founded by Charlie Bowlus.
Yeah, I love that question because although it was 30 years ago, I think the company was founded for the same reason we're here today. I mean, it was really to solve the pain points for the buyers and suppliers in this industry. You know, Charlie saw firsthand the inefficiencies with the buying and selling process being at Boston distributors. So before ECRM was born, he was a distributor and had that experience between bringing the right parties together. And he launched ECRM, very similar to how many of the brands that come to our sessions today were right out of his basement here in Cleveland. And so there was no one better to bring people together than Charlie. I mean, he had a knack to understand, what the pain points were. He could really bring out, talk to people and understand what they're struggling with. And then he was obsessed with finding solutions. So his dream became reality when we hosted our first session in 1994 in the beauty category.
The mission is the same, the purpose is the same, but certainly you've evolved some over the last 3 decades. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the growth and change that has happened at ECRM over that time.
So a lot has changed and a lot has stayed the same too. Charlie founded this company with an appetite for change and evolution, and although, like you said, the mission is the same, the way we've served our customers has changed and it has evolved. In 1994, we were, focused on that one event in beauty, just bringing the right parties together. But now it's a year-round process and we're not an event business anymore. We're really a solutions provider focused on how to deliver on the needs from our customers that we serve. Early on, we realized we could do much more than just, get the right people in the room together, but actually save buyers a tremendous amount of time, assisting with their category review process and even even serve suppliers better by doing that, because not only could they get access to their key decision makers, but also arming them with, what those buyers need. So imagine how productive you can be when you walk into a room and you know exactly what the other side of the table needs. And that's really, part of the evolution is understanding and talking to our customers and then changing the service in order to assist the parties when they get together. I think the other part that I would talk about is just, we went from 1 session to 70 sessions because we've really started to orchestrate our calendar very similar to how a retailer does business. Every aisle of the store is covered by a different category manager. And so every session is very category specific, so that the right people are there for that particular segment. And those sessions went from simply just booking a hotel and flights and hotel accommodations and fun dinners to now at the sessions, we're working with the retailers on helping to build their planograms, and we're putting together retailer portals. We're assisting in sourcing initiatives for retailers. And so it's really evolved in how much we're doing as far as the service from an event to a year-round process. And I think the last part I'd say is just the role technology's played in all of this. Early on, we really embrace technology to fuel everything that we do. And that still exists today. Back in the 90s when we first started, if you believe it or not, the technology was, we had everyone write all their notes for their meetings on a carbon copy paper, hand it in at the end of the night, and we had typists all night type up everyone's notes. And in the morning, everyone would get a recap with their notes typed out. And everyone loved that. But today, everything's on your phone. We have ECRM Connect, where buyers can access suppliers' product information. We have the suppliers can access the buyers' contact information. You could even host a virtual meeting right there from your phone on ECRM Connect. So technology's always been a big part of the business and helped fuel everything. And the biggest thing now we have is RangeMe that amplifies all that we're doing at the sessions, where buyers can come in and access this online discovery platform 365 days a year to find brands. So a lot of evolution, a lot of change, but definitely the mission stayed the same.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of that technology is proprietary, correct? It's stuff you developed in-house?
All in-house, correct. Mm-hmm.
Very impressive. Speaking of technology, when COVID hit, ECRM was one of the first organizations to quickly pivot to a digital format. In 24, you're moving back to many in-person sessions, and maybe you could tell me a little bit about that decision and what benefits the in-person sessions will deliver to attendees.
So we're really excited to be back in person. I think, I keep saying it feels like coming home a little bit. So we're really excited for that. But, why we made the decision and what there's going to be for attendees that in the upcoming year in person, love to elaborate on that. So first and foremost, we couldn't be more grateful for virtual over the last couple of years. It was really a great learning for us, and also an awesome way for us to expand on the number of buyers and suppliers that we've worked with. However, we've grown this business for 30 years listening to our customers. And as we started getting feedback on what the pain points were in today's environment, more and more we were leaning towards the best way to solve that is getting back to in-person. And the timing seemed right. We wanted to wait until we really had confidence that we could bring the same amount of suppliers and the same quality of buyers, all together at the same caliber that we were, pre-COVID, when we were running in person all the time. So the timing's right. Our calendar for all of next year is in person. And I think there's some of the things that we've always had at the in-person sessions for attendees to look forward to, such as, first off, getting access to all the right people at the right time. So our calendar is still timed to when buyers are making decisions. We want to make sure it's relevant for when changes are going to happen and decisions can be made. So getting the right people together at the right time, and also focusing on the sampling. That's something we missed out on in virtual. So, a big emphasis on being able to touch, taste, smell, hold those products because of what we missed out on. Just last week, we had a food service session in New Orleans, and to amplify the sampling, we did some cooking demonstrations. We had buyers choose some of the samples that they liked most and hosted some awards around it. So look for more around the sampling process. I think one of the biggest values everyone talks about at the sessions is the networking, really being able to build those relationships. I think our sessions, are a breeding ground for that because of the intimate format. It's really, I think I've mentioned here a little bit, just like getting the right people together, but it's within that segment. I mean, we're all in the CPG industry, but every session is all the people that are just in your category. So bringing that category community together and being able to collaborate even outside of the one-on-one meetings. We have our meal functions, we have educational sessions. So there's a lot that you can get even outside of when you're pitching or meeting between those buyers and sellers.
As you said, the one-on-one meetings are the core of what you do, the heart of what you do. But maybe you could elaborate a little bit on the other activities, the content that you touched on a second ago.
Yes, I'd love to. So the meetings are the core. It's where the magic happens. We spend the bulk of our time prior to the session curating those appointments to make sure the right parties are together. But outside of those one-on-one meetings, we also are hosting educational sessions or meal functions that really help with the networking. So from the education and content perspective, we typically have 1 to 2 educational sessions that help with thought leadership and insights on that particular segment and category. And then we also have been doing roundtables, which have quickly become my favorite thing that we're doing at the sessions, because it's a really easy way, not only to gain insights and education, but to network, because it's structured and it's casual. And so we're finding that, sitting around a table for 20, 30 minutes with your peers, whether it be other buyers or other suppliers, and talking about topics that are really relevant to our particular segment has been one of the attendees' favorites at the last few sessions that we've hosted in person. So we're looking forward to doing a lot more of those in 2024. We typically do it on the first day to kick off the session. So again, it's easy to talk with your peers and get to know some people before you even have the one-on-one meetings, or are going to catch up with them at a cocktail at the dinner function the next evening. So definitely a lot more content incorporated into the sessions to what we've saw in the past as well.
There are a lot of compelling reasons to do in-person sessions. I'm wondering, going forward, will there still be a place for the digital meetings, or is it going to be all in person?
We're all in person. So in person's where it's at. You can again see from our calendar that we have a lot of opportunities for all attendees in person. There is still a place for virtual. I think that we'll have some opportunities potentially in the follow-up process to incorporate our virtual offerings. We also will probably have some opportunities within the RangeMe platform around virtual. So although it's not in our calendar for next year, really, we do have some opportunities that I think we can start to incorporate virtual and not lose all that great learnings and great, process that we created during COVID.
Final question for you. As you said, you have 70 sessions. We can't hear about all of them, but maybe you could tell us a little bit about what our audience, the Chain Drug Review and mass market retailer audience, should have an eye on in the first quarter.
Yeah, so we have a little bit for everyone. I mean, the first quarter is packed with different sessions and different opportunities. I'd first highlight that we're going to have our cosmetics, fragrance and bath, and cough cold sessions in January to kick off the year. It feels right to have those be the ones that we kick off, because that's our roots. That's where we started. They're some of our biggest sessions that we have during the year. So those will be in New Orleans. And we do plan on celebrating our 30th anniversary there with everyone where it started. So very excited about that. We also have weight management, nutrition, and vitamin session that's coming up at the end of February. Convenience and impulse are two great sessions that kick off February for us. They cover all categories. They're growing segments. So those will be exciting. And then if you're in food and beverage, we have a ton of opportunities in first quarter, and actually 1 week with 6 different sessions in them in February. So that's going to be a mega week for us down in Jacksonville.
Well, pretty exciting stuff. I look forward to getting to as many of the shows as I can. And I thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. It's been a pleasure.